Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for another one. This week, we're talking about pennies, the penny paradox, history, value, and fight to keep the cent alive. We're here today. Dustin Lee, host and social media lead here on American Coin and Currency. John Mady, CEO, founder of American Coin and Currency. How's it going, John?
It is going great. I love our subject today, our topic. It's
Yeah,
going to be a great conversation. How are you today, Dustin?
that's good. Getting our ducks in the row per se for myself. Did that report this week for our yearly annual analytics for socials. Is really cool to see our of course our demographics is the older generation, but seeing some of the younger generations interact with our social media. So and
Yeah.
seeing kind of traction across all social medias and how it kind of cross pollinates and how some are more specific to the demographic on what content works and what doesn't. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was really
it's really fascinating because you can really delve into that and the
Mhm.
crossover. You see which topics really hit home with certain demographics,
Yeah.
age brackets, and the growth that we've seen on this show is incredible. So
Mhm.
wanted to thank all of our listeners and subscribers and friends that have helped get us to this point. As we discussed earlier, we've been at this for almost a year now, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's gone by that quickly, and it's been a lot of fun. And hopefully, we've educated a lot of people to make wise decisions when they enter into the numismatic world.
Mhm. Yeah, it was nice hearing some feedback from people that I know, or I didn't even know people that I knew watched the show. Actually, to be honest, they're like, "Yeah, watch the show," and they're like, my girlfriend's more, like not as understanding of some of the monetary aspects, but like still like her mother is like, yo, like this is something I'm interested in. So it's good to get a little
Sure.
feedback on, you know, different people seeing what we're doing and actually like getting traction. So yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
And some like the guests we had, ironically, are some of the either up and coming leaders or leaders in the space. Christian
Yep.
Strayhorn, works for ANA, the education director. Yeah, even like Zach Rate, he was awarded a young numismatist,
Young
like up.
numismatist over at
Yeah,
Flower Hill. Yeah.
yeah. So he's an up and coming person. So we're gonna probably see him, out there, the next 5 to 10 years, becoming a very good, strong voice. I would think so. Um,
Yeah, I would think he'll be a player in the industry. He's
oh
on that
yeah,
trajectory, which I'm
yeah.
very happy for him.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm excited for some of the guests I've been talking to. We have some people that worked at Stack Bowers, some people that worked at Apemex. Um, I think I have somebody on the line with the U.S. Mint. I definitely want somebody for there, and then also some
Aren't
sculpture.
we
Um,
aren't we having Jerome Powell on after he leaves the Fed?
I mean, might as well. Let's pick his brain. Like, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, I would love that. I mean, could you imagine? That would be freak. Although those guys can start talking in ways that like they do it on purpose. That
Yeah,
and that, like most people don't understand the words that are coming out of their mouth because they purposely make it complex for the average layman to comprehend what they're saying. But what they're really just saying is, yeah, we're printing money and you're going to pay for
yeah, it's
it.
definitely worth a salad. um, yeah, always. Yeah, no, it's hard to break down some of the context when it comes to like more high, like I'm not gonna say high level, but like more like terminology around like different industries or monetary policies or um, yeah. So I get it. It goes over people's head pretty easy. I'm sure.
Yeah. So for today's show, I figure we'll just keep calling, even though technically it's a cent. Most people refer to these coins as pennies. So
Right.
we could continue just calling them pennies today. You might hear me say cent a lot. Penny is actually the British version that we adopted that name or that word for that coin. Uh, but yeah, it's such a long history, and we should probably start at the beginning, which is the half cent,
Hmm.
which was that's to my knowledge that's the first commissioned U.S. coin. Actually, it was the Fugios, Fugio, the Fugio cent. That was the first. I've had a couple of those come through. They're very rare, very expensive. They're very cool looking.
Nice.
The half cent, I believe, was 1792 when that was commissioned, and so you had the half cent was circulating for several decades, and then we had large cents after that, which I have a few of, which are you can still find relatively inexpensive. They're pretty readily available, especially in the later years, because I believe it was up until 1836 or 1837. They were still manually. They created these coins manually, meaning they used a screw press for the coins as opposed to a steam press, which they incorporated in either 1836 or 1837. So those pre 36, 37 large, large pennies, large cent and half cent are typically more valuable because none of them are exact because they were handmade. They did it as close as possible, but when you're striking things by hand, it's difficult to keep that precision on each and every one. Real quick, I want to show you what I have, a planchette of a large cent. So it's a blank planchette. There's nothing on it, but even though there's nothing on it, it's a pretty collectible item. People love blank planchettes. So I've had, large cent. I have small cent planchette, blank on either side. And then I've seen them in gold. I've seen them in silver. But blank planchettes are. When I was preparing for the show and I was just looking for some materials, I totally forgot I had these, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool to bring these up." Some people have never seen blank planchettes, especially with the large cent. And then, of course, like this is an 1853 large cent. It's hard to see any detail with the plastic on the top, but things like these are readily available and typically under $100. You can get them in this kind of condition. Of course, you get higher grades, and of course, you're going to be talking about higher dollar amounts. But the half cent and the large cent are really interesting pieces. They were widely used, and eventually, it got to the point, which is when I was reading up on to prepare for our show. I didn't realize that that they ceased production back in I want to say the late 1830s. I'm sorry, not 1830s, 1850s of the half and the large cents, because the production, it costs too much to make. So we've just seen this happen currently with the 2025 penny, where they ceased production. Of course, I believe it was costing, they said 3 cents to make every one cent.
Yeah. Exactly.
So same thing happened back in the 1850s. It was costing too much money for the face value. So the copper was a lot, especially with the larger cents. So they went ahead and they in 1857 issued the first cent in the size as we know it today. It was a flying eagle. It's different than what we commonly see, but 1856 is actually the first year they struck examples. There was, I believe, 2,000 struck in 1856 of the flying eagle. I've never had one. They're extremely rare and very, very valuable, and I'm talking like Dustin in crappy highly circulated condition. It's a $10,000 coin.
Jeez.
So there's obviously been plenty of counterfeits and fake on the market when you get into dollar amounts like that. The 1857 and 1858 I have them in books, and I've sold them graded before. They're more readily available. And for anyone who's watching, the people that are watching and really enjoy our show, you should pick yourself up a red book. if you're,
Mhm.
into the hobby, into investing in coins and collecting. It's just a really good tool to have. We give them away to a lot of our customers that do, business with us, just as a tool for them to have. Just, it's just good to
Mhm.
have the history, current price values. And so I get a lot of my information, some of what we're talking about today from the Red Book, as
Mhm.
well as other sources. But yeah, I mean, uh, I'll stop with that, and then so we get back on course. But the history of the cent is fascinating, and yeah, so that's just a little tidbit of where we're going with this today.
Yeah, that's great because it really just kind of ties the history of the U.S. in general, like what a cent is. And you mentioned about pennies being more of like a UK kind of thing. Like where that carried over. Like, do you have some like knowledge around that? Like why it was called a penny, and then like why that adoption because of like the New England kind of thing. Like was that the adoption kind of aspect, and then of course it was a cent, but then penny itself, like terminology, was like carried over.
Well, I think that because the well, I don't think I know because the pennies weren't such wide use
Mm,
already in the colonies that
okay.
when we started striking cents, the common vernacular was penny. So that's what was just used because the Canadians had pennies. The Obviously the British had pennies,
Mm,
and so they were all over the colonies, and so that vernacular penny just carried on and was used instead of a cent.
mm, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Makes
Yeah, I
sense.
love that. uh,
Makes pennies.
yeah, because the original, like you showed, like some of the larger pennies or the cents, were kind of from early U.S. mintage. Like the kind of transition was like in the mid 1800s or something like that. Like, um,
Yep.
was like yeah, they started making smaller cents. Like, do you have like background on like why was it because of like cost or like
Yeah.
differentiating?
Yeah. It was all about economics and cost.
Yeah.
And the mint director at that time, his last name was Snowden, just
Oh,
like how you spell Edward Snowden.
yeah. I'm like, that's funny how that works. No relation, huh?
Yeah. And so it was really just about like today, the cost became too much, and so
Yeah.
they retooled it to come up with a smaller piece of copper to use as a cent, as opposed to this large one, which I haven't weighed it. I would imagine this is the weight of probably three pennies that we're familiar with.
Uh,
Um, Copper pennies, pre 1984, I believe, was the year that they transitioned.
hmm.
But yeah, it's one of the things I wanted to get into today as well, because I most everyone who is in the coin collecting hobby or is an investor in coins, they typically start with pennies or cents. And I know I did. My son and I used to go through. I mean, I don't know how many jars of pennies I've been through in my life, uh,
Right.
because there's so many. You can go. There's levels to it, right? There's different varieties. There's actually books that showcase all these different varieties, and you can get so granular with these pennies where just a little offset, just marking that should not be or is in the wrong place. They're called varieties, and there's countless varieties of cents going back to to the large date, to the half cent. So one of the things I did want to bring up today was I do get a lot of calls. We get a lot of calls from the show from people that are looking to sell coins, and a
Mhm.
lot of times they have pennies. And one thing that I tell them, I ask, so your coins, are they in a bag or are they separated into flips or
Ah,
holders? And so if they tell me that they're in a bag, I kind of know what I'm working with. If they're all
that's
separated,
true.
like I had a gentleman come in not too long ago, and he had cases of these, but all of the coins, all the different pennies were all marked off with, different varieties, double die obverse, double die reverse, strike
Okay.
through, die cracks. So my advice being that if you want to, if you're no dealer that I know of is going to have the time to go through someone's pennies. Like if someone brought a bag of pennies to me, or
No,
like a big tin or a jar or something, I would say you have to
jeez,
go through it.
it's
I
gonna be a
don't. I
while,
still don't have time to do that.
right?
But if people want to get the most for they're interested in it. They like looking through them. They find it fascinating. Spend a little extra time, go through them and categorize them like has been done here in flips, and you'll get more for your coins than you would just going to a dealer with a bag of pennies,
True.
even if they're wheatbacks, even if they're Indian head pennies. I've had people come in with bags of Indian head pennies, and to me, it's the same exact thing. It's I don't have the time to go through them. I'm basically
True.
going to give you, 3 or 5 cents a penny, depending on whether they're wheatbacks or whether they're Indian head pennies. So, just a little word to the wise, to get the most bang for your buck. I would try to categorize or catalog your pennies. Um,
True.
Now, one thing I've noticed lately is and I'm sure you've seen it too, Dustin,
Mhm.
is there's a craze going on now with pennies, with cents, and people wanting them, and people we've been had more requests and have been selling more pennies in the last 6 months than the previous 6 years. And it's all because the production was ceased and they're no
True.
longer going to be, part of our currency. And so that to me is great for the industry because it brings not only awareness, but it also brings intrigue and fascination, and that's all good for everyone involved.
Mhm.
And so yeah, start with categorizing. If you could, people put them by at least Wheatback as opposed to Lincoln Memorial. And I believe that transition, and people are going to kill me for not knowing this right off the top of my head. I believe that was in, come on, John, you should know this right off the top of your head. 70. I have too many pennies in front of me, man. Um, When did they transition? They transitioned in 59. So
For wheat
58
penny?
was the last year for the wheatbacks.
Ah,
59 was the first year for the
Lincoln.
um, the Lincoln Memorial pennies.
Ah, okay.
And so just separated by that. But another thing I wanted to show our viewers, when I see things like this, like someone comes in and the pennies look like that, they're pristine.
Yeah, those look great.
Any of these would grade mint state.
Oh, really?
And so
Okay.
having these, you're already ahead of the game. Now, some of these I will get graded if it's warranted to pay that expense. Um, but it is worth for those that are watching and listening to go through. Like, let's say you got your grandfather's pennies that he collected when he was a kid. If you don't go through them and spend a few hours, then shame on you,
Mhm.
because you don't know what could be sitting in that bag. And if you come to a dealer with, like I said, I've had people literally come with boxes of just pennies, loose pennies. That would take a day to go through. I'm not going to be able to do that.
No.
But if I buy that bulk from a customer, which I do all the time, and I find something rare in there, well, that's my find, you
Right.
know. Um, so it's worth going through, because especially if your great uncle, your grandfather, your great grandfather collected these and they've never been picked through, spend a couple days learning a little bit, maybe get a red book. And now with technology with you have Grok, you have you have all these different AI platforms that can help you out tremendously. It's worth taking a little bit of time to go through because you might have some rare years, and when you get into the earlier years, especially with, I guess we should try to segment this into 3 different categories. So you have like flying eagles, you have Indian head pennies, and then we're going to go to wheatbacks. Those early year wheatbacks, which started in 1909, can be very valuable, even in circulated condition. If you have a 1909 S for San Francisco, VDB, those initials stand for the person who designed it, Victor David Brown, I think the name was. That coin is even in circulated condition is a $4,000 to $5,000 coin. And then there's other years that are very, very valuable. 1920 no D, the early 1915, the S's. This is San Francisco Mint, anything from 1909 to 1930.
30?
Yeah, okay. 22 is another great year. So there's a lot there, and unfortunately people don't want to spend the time, and I get it, like especially if you're not into coins. That could be like like the Chinese drip torture, having to go through each one. But that's sometimes how dealers come across really incredible items, because I will eventually take the time to go through those coins. It might take me a year to get to it, but eventually I will go through those, and maybe I'll find something in there that's worth sending out, getting graded, and then I'll turn around and I'll sell it. Or if it's good enough, I'll, and I don't have it, I'll keep it for my collection. So that's just a brief summary of kind of like just some to-dos and not to-dos when it comes to selling your pennies.
So you don't have like a normal change jar. You're just like, I'll go through them eventually.
Yeah, I keep them in. Basically, I have jars, I have boxes, I have cups. I have things filled with old coins. Just solo cups like this, filled with old nickels. Old nickels I still haven't gone through yet, and there's probably a bunch of, judging by the weight, I would say there's a good amount of war nickels in here, 42 to 50 to 45, which are 35% silver. So that's 5, 6, I don't know how many dollars 35% of that would be, but it's definitely worth more than a nickel. It's probably approaching $10, $5 to $10. So I get to them eventually.
Yeah, it's a hard eye. Yeah, maybe like in the future, like AI can have some type of like, you just like feed it through, and it's like, oh, yep, these are key dates, these are certain errors, or something like that, like a AI change sorter, like scanner.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a customer years ago who was in the vending machine business. And him and his brother they created, I don't know how they bought it, but it was basically like what you're saying. It was a conveyor belt for all the change that they received, and it would automatically separate the silver pieces, 64 and earlier, from the from the copper clad. So that would be really cool if you could have something that you could just put a bunch, just pour all this change into older coins, and have that automatically go through. And I mean, AI would be able to pick up not only the date, the mint mark, but also all the different varieties that it might have attributed to that piece. That would be amazing if there was something like that out there.
Yeah,
I mean, gee,
that's a $1 billion invention. Like, I mean, that would make a lot of money, because separating and then having another functionality where it grades it too. Like you can have like a, for like large, distribution.
Yeah, imagine these companies that already exist, like Coinstar or
Yeah,
some of
coin
these other
store.
at your bank, if they
Yep.
had that built in where there was some kind of a laser going across as each one gets fed, and it just quickly scans it, and it spits the ones that are have more value than face
Yeah.
over to this side, and all the rest go over here. I guarantee you that people that go to those Coinstar things at their Winn Dixie or Publix or wherever
Yeah.
they have them, and they take, I think, 10% or more of whatever you bring. I guarantee you that there's been extreme rarities that have gone into those that are just now lost,
True.
or maybe will be found once again after they get rolled up, and who knows what happens with them. I don't know what Coinstar does with them, but I like your idea, Dustin. It's a good one.
Yeah, that's something I'm like, man, because the AI is just going to play such a big role when it comes to everything, and then I definitely want to be in that position to, especially like AI grading in general is just, I think it's a better approach as long as you feed it the right knowledge. But it's going to
Yeah.
be hard to get some of these key dates and some of that information provided, so it checks all those markings and make sure this specific coin is authentic. So like that in itself is going to be difficult because you can't get most of these coins. But anything that's like more common, I guess to say. But yeah, I think it's a really big thing. But yeah, let's get back into the pennies, cents. So
Sen-
yeah, cents. You mentioned some key dates. The 1909 S. There's the 22 no deer. We didn't talk about like
Yeah.
steel pennies. I know wartime issue like some of like zinc and steel penny stuff. Um, yeah, like what's your thoughts around that? Like, they differentiate from regular wheat pennies, and that kind of time frame when steel pennies came out. Obviously, those are pretty rare. Um, like, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think that steel pennies are fascinating in that with all coinage, it gives you one of the things I love about numismatics and coins in general is that
Mm.
you get a viewpoint to the past with that coin. It kind of just shows what was happening in the world at that time. So we entered World War II in 1940. We were officially at war. June 7th, I believe it was, Pearl Harbor.
Mm.
And so uh, 41, 42, the U.S. Mint is still using copper for their pennies. By the time 43 rolls around, um, they needed that copper for munitions. So they
Ah,
switched to steel. And so they ran uh, a couple. What's really cool is that a couple super rare, some of the rarest coinage ever was mistakenly produced because of the war and because of switching from copper to steel. So
ah,
in 1943, when they were switching over, uh, a few pieces of copper and a few bronze pennies had gone through production with the 1943 date on them, and they weren't.
oh,
They were all supposed to be destroyed, and some of them got out, and some lucky people now own one, and those are six-figure coins, and so uh, the steel pennies, even though people think that they're rare, they're. I mean, here's just a couple. These are you really can't see them too well, but they're in good shape. A lot of times they get rusted. I've seen, they get in really bad shape if they're not stored correctly. So the 43 steel penny is very common. I have rolls and rolls of them. They're readily available anywhere online. The 44 steel penny is a true rarity. So that's another piece uh, that there's only a few that exist. And actually, with my red book, I could tell you exactly how many. I want to say under a dozen are known to exist. And so I don't know what I do with my red book. Oh, duh. So yeah, they are just exceedingly, exceedingly rare pieces. But like anything, they're highly collectible, uh, in good condition and in great condition in all the years. I think I told the story one time. I had a woman who came in years back, and her father had a nice collection of coins, some really real rarities. And I'm flipping through, and I see a 1943 penny. I flip to the next page of this book, and then something just clicked in my head. I was like, "What?" I went back, and I was like, "Oh my god, a 1943 copper penny!"
Oh
And
wow.
so I was very happy because I just to hold one. She had no idea what it was. I told her we need to get this graded, and if it grades out, well, it's a six-figure coin, and we'll market it for you, we'll sell it for you, we'll cover all the grading costs, and we keep 15% of the profit. And she kept everything else. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it wasn't a real one. In that
Oh, jeez.
sense.
Ay.
Again, very rare pieces. Uh, and I hear this all the time, not only with pennies, but with other coins. Someone reached out to me the other day, so they had a 1794 $. When I see that, I'm just
Oh,
like,
right.
nope. Someone says they have an 1804, dollar. Chances are, no, you don't.
No,
If you
that's
do,
crazy.
it's a counterfeit. It's so, and they've been counterfeiting coins for as long as coins have been created, or altering them in some way, shape, or fashion.
Mm.
So steel pennies are fantastic. There's a whole subset of collectors that only collect steel pennies, and they like to try to get every grade and each year and each mint mark. And I'll tell you what, Dustin, when you're dealing with cents, I know dealers who only deal in cents.
Mm.
It's such a large market. So many people invest and collect pennies and cents. You can make a career just off wheatbacks. Forget about all the other stuff. Just off
Wow.
wheatbacks. There's so many different varieties. There's so many years, mint marks, different grades. And nowadays, not nowadays, always has been, but people looking for the top, the very top, the top graded piece.
Mm.
That's the quest of has been the quest of numerous people throughout the years to get that piece. And so it's going to be wildly expensive.
Mm.
So there's treasure in pennies. I guess that's what I'm trying to get across. There
Yeah.
there is treasure sometimes in pennies. Even the 2025s, unfortunately, for some reason, they did not roll them this year. That's what I've been told from the numerous banks I've gone to. Because I was trying to buy rolls of the 2025s,
Yeah.
uh, and I was told that they only have mixed rolls that they could offer. Now I don't know if earlier in the year they were available at some point. I know you can buy them on eBay
Yeah.
rolled. I've already purchased numerous boxes before the prices shot up, but I tell people. I was telling my nieces the other day. I was like, look through the pennies, find the 2025s, put them aside, because 50 of those, which is a roll, which is 50 cents, can sell on eBay for upwards of $30 if they're all in gem condition. You know, so it's worth the time for the kids to go through it.
Yeah, that's what happened to me at the end of 2025. Was I was looking for some rolls, and the bank was like, "Oh, we have mixed rolls," and I was like, I don't want that. I want to make sure they're 2025." So,
Like I
I
have
have
these
it.
rolls. These are all 2025s. These are out of my boxes.
Wow.
Uh, but these did not come from the bank. These were, I believe, rolled.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing I wanted to bring up real quick is if people have these, Let's see if I can get it so you can see where it says. Let me back it up. So right there, it says Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, Illinois. These are the penny rolls that you want. In fact, these are the rolls in general that you want. Unopened Federal Reserve Bank rolls. This roll in particular, I just grabbed this. I have lots of them, but this one is a 1960 D, large date, unopened Federal Reserve roll. When people bring these in, I love it. Love them, love them, love them, because this is a collector. These are what collectors want. Federal Reserve rolls. So that's just another thing to look for to our friends who are listening and watching our show. Little tidbit of advice. If you have those, put them aside and keep them safe.
Federal Reserve notes. I know. So yeah, we'll touch on a little bit about let's see, like the everyday use cases. You know, of course, pennies are coming out of circulation. I've seen it in places stating that they don't. They're accepting exact change now.
Yeah.
I know they did that in COVID times as well. What's your take? You know, is the U.S. government, you know, taking their change back and melting it back for melt, or you know, is there actually change shortage when it comes to pennies?
I think I don't think the government's doing anything with them because it's just copper clad. It's not like they're pure copper, which would have more value. I think it was just a economics thing. I think that it was costing too much money to produce. They're losing money on it. I believe nickels are going to be next.
Yeah.
And eventually, I think we're gonna get to a cashless society. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but at some point, years down the road. But it'll happen in increments. You know, penny already happened. Everyone's used to that for now. The nickel will be next, then the dime, and then the quarter, and then eventually, I think dollar bill. You know, regular paper money will no longer be available like it once was. Of course, those that have it will still be able to transact with it, but you better bring exact change, right? Because you're not going to get change.
You're not getting change back.
If that does happen, let's say the nickel's next. Let's say, you know, middle of this year, the mint director comes out and says, you know, listen, next year we're getting rid of the nickel. That's actually something good to look up. How much does each nickel cost to produce? Because that's public information. It's U.S. Mint. But let's say he comes out and says we're going to stop production of the nickel in 2026. So in 2027, no more nickel. I think that's great for the industry. It's great for our industry because it makes what's already available and existing that much more desirable. People want what they can't have. I mean, if you can't have nickels anymore, or pennies, or let's say dimes eventually, you're going to have to go into this world to get them. And if you're going to do that, you might as well start a nice coin collection.
It costs 13 cents of 2024 to create one nickel.
What? It's worse than the penny, percentage-wise. No.
Yeah. It's
the penny's 300%. The nickel 13 cents, so that's like 130%.
That's
markup to produce that.
That's wow. Yeah, I'm gonna see.
Now, can you look up how much a dime costs? I wonder if that's less. If that's on par. Wow, 13 cents to make 5 cents.
Yeah, 13 cents. And that was 2024, so I don't even know. Dime is 5 to 6 cents per dime. Okay, so that's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, nickels cost more.
Well, especially, I wonder now if, you know, there's a global race for metals, minerals, all of that, nickel being one of them. Nickel is used in there's so many applications for nickel.
it says that because it's made out of 75% copper.
Yep,
That's the reason, pretty much.
that's the expense, the copper.
Yeah,
Okay.
25% nickel. Um, yeah, it says 11 to 14 cents is average. Yeah, deficit is 6 to 9 cents per a coin. That's crazy. Like so 3x, pretty much. Um,
Wow.
ay,
So the nickel will be next.
yeah, nickel's out the
That's
door.
next on the chopping block, and it makes sense.
Maybe.
Ding ding.
Yeah, so let's get back into it. Let me get here where we at. So yeah, production, it was coming up to like 3 cents at the end of its run here. Um Maybe we'll touch about a little bit about like public frustration, nostalgia. Like what, you know, obviously the penny, the cent is well recognized. There's a lot of nostalgia to it, but having pennies in circulation, at least previously, is very, very looked over for most people. Like you said, you go to the coin store, you're putting it in there, nobody cares. You can have some key dates, you can have some errors in there, don't even know. And now that you've stopped production, are
Yep.
people a little bit more aware of that, like of the pennies?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like I said, that when news like that comes out, it's great for the industry because it shines a spotlight that for people. I mean, I think most people realize that there is a rare coin market,
yeah,
but you'd be surprised. Someone who's very successful investor, but has only invested in whatever it might be, oil and gas wells or mineral rights, fill in the blank, might not really be aware of how large and significant the rare coin and numismatic market is. And when headlines come from the US government like this saying, hey, we're ceasing production of one of the most iconic coins to ever exist, that that draws a lot of attention in a
true.
good way, in my opinion, to the market. And I've seen it firsthand. We've been busier with cents in the last 6 months than we have in the past previous 6 years.
True. Yeah, I mean, I felt that too, especially that last mint of like the Omegas, was it, or of the last little bit of coins that were produced. They were like special to some state. Like maybe we touch like what were those, like those the Omega pennies, like the last like
Yeah,
ones
they
that are,
did it. They did the special. So the mints will do ceremonial mintages
yeah.
to mark a special occasion. So the last, I forgot how many number were put aside specifically, and that way they could get graded. And so let's say the uh, 250th to the last 1,000th penny or cent to be struck in 2025.
Mm,
I remember reading an article that the last penny struck was going up for auction.
yeah.
Um, I never followed up on how much that sold for. I think it was either Christie's or Stack's Bowers. Uh, it was a major. It might not have been a coin dealer. Like Stack's is a huge auction house. Heritage is huge, but I think it could have been like a regular uh, auctioneer, like a Christie's that sold it.
Yeah.
Um, but it sold for a tremendous amount of money. They did the same thing with to mark the end of the American Silver Eagle, the Type One, from 1986 to 2021. Then in mid 2021, they created they changed the reverse, which would now
Oh,
make that a Type Two, and so they had a ceremony. It was called From Dusk Till Dawn, or at dusk and until dawn. And so the last 500 silver eagles to ever be struck as type ones were pulled, and the
uh,
first 500 type two silver eagles to be struck were pulled. and so we were able to get those, a good amount of them actually.
Whoa.
They were all grade, not all, but the ones we received were graded with matching sides. So you might have the 2021 Type 1 Silver Eagle, Mint State 70, number, 105 of 500 last struck. And then on the other side, the Type 2, 2021 Type 2 MS70, the 105th of the first 500 struck. So you had a matching 105, 105 on each side, and those are exceedingly valuable and very hard to get. I don't see them too often on eBay, but as it happens on our eBay right now, we actually have those coins. I'm the only dealer that I know of in the United States that has 4 consecutive numbers. So it's like number 200. I think it's in the 250s, 250. And I'm just throwing this out there because I don't know right off the top of my head, but it's like 256, 257, 258, 259 on the Type 1s, and then matching on the Type 2s. So it's actually an 8-coin set with corresponding numbers of the dusk till dawn. I mean, as an investor of coins or as a collector of coins, you'd be very happy just to have one of the last 500 and first 500 eagles to be struck. In our case, we have something special there. But I'm getting way off track from cents. We're already at dollars.
I'm looking it up. I'm about to pull it up here. Is it so? Which of these are? What am I looking?
So it'll be an 8-coin set.
Oh, the 8-coin set.
And it's silver eagles. They're all PCGS, and it's like we have it listed for like 36,000.
Oh yeah, okay. One of our higher ticket items. I see.
And I was thinking about pulling that actually, because that set is going to go up astronomically in value as time goes on.
Let's go back here, and then yes, there we are. Give us a call. Let us know if anything makes sense to you. Give us a call, 561-310-8341. uniquecoins@gmail.com. Linktree, American Coin ACC, eBay, American CCs. And you can find us everywhere on maps. But yeah, this is
makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Like times 100 times 36,500 plus eBay fees. But yeah, give us a call. You can get us direct. Kind of skip the line. When it comes to fees and everything. So get yourself a good deal here. We got a lot of coins for sure on this one.
Yeah, but that's a special set. I've been considering pulling that because I think I'm going to pull that, and maybe if it doesn't go down, get lost with my personal collection. In a year or two from now, stuff like that is so rare, and with Silver Eagles being the most popular coin in the world, with cents probably being the second. I think there's more people that have cents or pennies in their collections than anything else, and that makes total sense. No pun intended.
For sure.
Because it's a very inexpensive entry point into this wonderful hobby. And anyone can do it. If you can look through change, you can start a collection. You buy one of these. Different books. There's Whitman. There's all kinds. Our friend Donahue makes these books.
Oh, you got it. Yes. Really?
But yeah, this is a pretty extensive one, and I don't know if this one is totally complete. Nope. No, is it? Yeah, those are still pennies. Yeah, that's a complete book.
Wow, that's cool.
Of course, it doesn't have like the 43 copper or the 44 bronze or the 44 steel.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But yeah, you get these on eBay used, for a couple bucks, and bring it home, and you and your son or your daughter or whoever you want to do it with, do it by yourself. Start filling up the book, and then you'll see how much fun it is, and how rewarding it is when you do find that one date, and with the mint mark that you've been searching for and you haven't been able to find, and you're not going to take the easy way out and just buy it on eBay. You're going to find it,
Yeah.
and then when you do that, it's very rewarding. It's literally a treasure hunt, even though it's not going to be worth much because it's just a common date penny, let's say. Still, it's fun and it's rewarding, and anyone can get involved with that. And then it just kind of gradually goes up, especially if you have the financial means to do so, kind of elevates from there moving forward, and we can get into much better coins, or better varieties. My favorite is the 1955 double die obverse. I there's something about that. I've probably looked for that penny out of the tens of thousands of pennies that have gone through my fingers, looking for certain years and mint marks. That's the one that I've never found. I mean, I've found ones with slight doubling, but nothing where there's like a dramatic doubling of the, in God we trust, liberty, and the date. And so, you just don't know what you might find. I mean, it was very recently, Dustin, where someone found I'm saying recently, like 7 years ago, a 1958 double die obverse, which used to not be in Red Book, but the 2026 now does have that. I believe that one sold for 1.8 million.
Ungraded?
No, it was graded, and I think it was like AU, like it was in the AU 50s, so it wasn't mint state, and it was brown. So with pennies, people, when you get into more higher end, not just raw cents, collectors and investors want red.
Red
so
cent.
Now this is a modern. It's a 2000 S. It's a proof 69. But if you have like a 1955 double die obverse that's red, you have an unbelievable coin in your hands. So there's, in the grading, it will say like 1925 S. Let's say, if you're lucky, really lucky, MS60 RD or RB, red brown, or BN, brown. So red being the best, brown being the least best.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I would say
a lot of nuances.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances for sure. And like you said, like anybody can really dive into it. I mean, the point of entry is literally a penny, or a handful of change, essentially. And it can be overlooked anywhere, literally on the ground somewhere, So that's good. It's good that anybody has that option, and we get a lot of messages, hey, these are, it's like, well, these are actually just pennies, but you know what I mean, like, but still, they could have something.
You never know.
Never know.
You just never know.
But yeah, if you guys, if anything makes sense to you, give us a call, 561-310-8341. UniqueCoins@gmail.com, website, Linktree, American Coin, ACC, eBay, American CC. If there's any key dates you're looking for, of course, obviously some of those coins you can't find as, in the nature, but sometimes you can. Anything specific, give us a call. We'll touch a little about what people have said.
Real quick, Dustin, on that, what you just said. For our viewers, you're going to see more pennies and coming up on our eBay from a collection that we recently purchased.
Okay.
So they're going to be low tier, like 50 to, let's say, at most $500 at the highest end. We're not going crazy, but there's going to be some really good deals there for early date, as well as common. There's a lot of value in some of the pennies from the 70s and the 80s when you start dealing with large or small imprinting of the mint mark, the date, and other irregularities, the AM in America, depending on how close those letters are together. I mean,
Right.
that could be a difference in thousands of dollars. So it really gets granular, and you really need someone who has expertise. But again, you're not going to be able to go to a dealer with a sack of pennies and be like, "Hey, can you look through these for me?" Um, no one's going to do that for you. You just have to do it yourself. I would love to, but there's only 24 hours in the day.
For sure. Someone just mentioned on the hunt for a friend for a 1955 decam proof Jefferson nickel. Oh, okay. Well,
That's not
uh,
too hard to find.
yeah, give us a call.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Send me an email or text that number. That is my personal cell phone.
yeah,
So if I don't answer, leave a message because I get a lot of calls throughout the day. But that's a. I might even have one here.
yeah,
I just need to know what grade you're looking for.
for sure. Yeah, son of Silver Stacker, let us know what is going on. All right, let's see. What is the most valuable penny? It's tough.
I would say right off the top of my head that 1958 double die obverse.
Oof.
I
Okay.
think there's three known or four
Three.
known.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's
That
why
is
it was real big news when one was found. Like again, it was found. Like someone was I don't know I don't remember the story behind it,
yeah.
but it wasn't like graded. It wasn't sitting in a vault somewhere. They were going through, I think, a family member's belongings after they had passed their inheritance, and this coin was discovered. I should say it wasn't found like on the street. It was
Yeah, I was
discovered
like,
in a
okay,
pre-existing collection,
I
and
see.
so that was huge news. So
Wow.
off the top of my head, that's it. And then you can depending on what penny you're talking about, Indian head pennies, you have the 1877, which is the key date, and the 1909s. So in 1909 we switched over. I'm sorry, 1908 and 1909 there were still Indian head pennies, but yeah, those are very valuable as well.
For sure. Yeah, and then I guess let me pull that up. I had some info on the Omega pennies that sold. Says auction 800,000 were for the final set. Number 232 of the whole set. I believe there was what was the set? 232 sets of 3 coins each. And then average sold around 72. First one sold for 200. Um, over
Two
17
hundred
sold.
thousand or $200.
Yeah,
$200,000.
200,000, 200,000,
Okay.
72,000, 200,000. Most sold for over 100, or
Yep.
17 sold over 100,000. And it was at Stack Bowers at $16 million they generated. And then the final one sold for 800. So, yeah, it's quite a bit of money.
And they did they sell it raw? I don't remember, or was it already graded?
I think they were all graded. Um, market way back to extremely. Let's see.
I can't remember. Although there's so many different things I have to remember. It's sometimes difficult, but I could see it selling for that much either if it's raw or graded because it was going to get graded, and that's probably already a seven-figure coin.
Yeah, they were graded through PCGS, it looks like. And then some people on eBay right now, actually, people have some of the CAC stickers on them as well. That's 80,000 for a set of
In
six of
Omega.
them. Well, some are
Okay.
the 24 karat ones, actually. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, because they had that. They had like three different versions, I believe. They're the 24 carats, and yeah, there was, I believe, three. Yeah. Um, Yeah, 24 karat, the D penny and the P penny as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's just the end of an era, but yeah, good way to go out, I guess. Um, let's see, his final questions and answers. Let's see, love this show, great work. Thanks again,
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being here. We got Matthew Pham, Drake busts, large cents are cool. Of course, so many are corroded.
Yeah, they get that green crap on the outside of them.
Yeah,
Don't clean them either. If you come across some,
just keep
you
them.
know, relative dies, leaves you with you got to go through their stuff. You find coins, and you see all this green corrosion on you know, like he said, a drape bust, which
Yeah.
means it's a very old piece. You can send it into NGC or PCGS. They both have conservation services where they clean the coin and they do it correctly and they make it beautiful and it doesn't affect the grade. In fact, it'll probably enhance it.
Mm. Uh,
And it's not an expensive service.
no, it's not. It's I assume the service is really cheap.
Mm.
I own a couple of true pennies, hammered silver pennies from a Crusader state of Antioch, the King of John the First of England. Cool.
Well, that sounds pretty freaking awesome. What I would do is if they're not graded, I'm not sure what the question is.
Um,
But I would get those. I would get those graded if you have something like that, something historical. Uh, Without them being graded and certified, you just don't know unless you have really good provenance.
yeah, that those are some true gems there. Like one more response. The green crap on copper is bronze disease.
You're right, Matt.
Good response. Good closing response for us for today.
I love that people are engaging more and more. I
Yeah,
really love people enjoy our show and learn some things because we learn new things every day as well.
yeah,
And all I ask is just just if you find what we are offering of any value to you, just please follow us, like us. It really helps us out across all social media platforms. It takes a second to do, and because we do put a lot of work into these shows, and there's
yeah.
a lot of time and effort. I know Dustin puts a lot of time and effort into it as well. So following us, subscribing, liking us really helps us to put together a better show for you.
100%. Yeah. Appreciate everybody being here. Follow us, subscribe to all our platforms. You can find us on most major social medias. Give us a call 561-310-8341, uniquecoins@gmail.com. Linktree, American Coin ACC, eBay. You can find us on X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky. I don't know if anything is missing there, but find us American Coin and Currency pretty much everywhere. Coming out with a bunch of shorts. We're going to have a bunch of guests coming on for the next couple months, and going forward as well. We're going to have that panel join us again. Big hitters, big leaders in the space, educating
Yep.
people as well. And yeah, exciting going forward. Of course, we wouldn't have any of this without you guys. So appreciate you being here with us every week. We got another couple of responses with Matthew here. I bought a medieval silver pennies from auction houses. Dealers specialize in ancient coins. I myself, an ancient numismatist, so I usually collect ancient and medieval coins raw, not slabbed. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's hey. I know people that collect very high end Morgans, and they collect them in the books. I mean these and beautiful gem uncirculated with gorgeous toning, and they have every year. And I've said, why don't you get them slabbed? No, I like them in the book. Hey, I get it. Good for you, Matthew. I love it.
Yeah, I'll stay in contact with you, Matthew. If you want to come on for a show, sounds like you're pretty well versed. We do like having guests that are knowledgeable and experts in the space. So if you know a lot more about medieval pennies, that'd be cool to have that conversation with you. So
I don't
yeah.
think there were medieval. I don't think there were medieval pennies. Matthew might know that.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, they're all different names. All different names.
But
I
yeah,
can't believe an hour and 10 minutes has gone by already. We
that's
could
it.
literally spend all. We just scratched the surface, folks.
We barely
on
touched
pennies.
this.
Like you just scratched the surface. There's so much more that I planned on getting and talking about. If
Yeah.
you could look at my desk, I have so much stuff out that I was going to show, but we'll save it for next time because I think a lot of people love this topic. And we should also do a nickel one coming soon, since
Yeah.
I think the nickel is going to be on the chopping block here in the near future, next couple of years. So yeah, the nickel would be a good one too.
Yeah, I think we should touch on all the variation of coinage, from nickels to dimes and all that, because there's just so much fascinating history behind it. And yeah,
Yeah.
nickels are out the door, and maybe we can educate people on getting some nickels for themselves for the 2027, or whatever the year that they end up ending production. Get them ahead of the curve, and give you guys that kind of knowledge and that edge that you might need in the hobby if you're getting into it. So it's good to come here every week, check in with us, let us and follow us, and we'll here to educate you guys on your next find. Essentially. Yeah. Any final words for the weekend? What's going on your end? Anything exciting? What's hot?
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier that it's just April's always an iffy month with
Yeah.
in this business and many other businesses, and
Yeah.
now it seems like now that the tax day is over, people
Yeah.
are not focused on that anymore. And I mean, we're busy all the time, but now we've gone back to where we were pre-April. We slowed down in April, and
Yeah.
now everything's floating again. And so, yeah, well, I mean, we're on fire. We're here to sell coins. We're here to build collections. We're here to protect and preserve wealth, and to help you against that horrible I word, inflation, which is a tax on all of
Oof.
us.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous word. We want to turn into Venezuela or Argentina. I was thinking when you were saying,
Zimbabwe,
yeah, Zimbabwe. No, Zimbabwe is like the upper echelon of like erosion.
yeah,
Like that is insane what they went through.
$100 trillion note.
100 trillion. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. As soon as you mentioned about like money being discontinued in general, paper money and cashless systems, I'm thinking like Black Mirror and social credit score and China using WeChat. Like that is a reality. We're using QR scans and digital responses, transactions. So, but there's so much history and there's so much value when it comes to holding your own physical assets and holding coins. So, really, I think at the end of the day, like you said, it's good for the business, good for the hobby, especially when they're not aware of like pennies being distributed, and then the ceasing production, like with the nickels coming next. I think that's going to really kind of give people an alarming sense of like these physical coins are actually holding value. So then, I think that's
Yeah.
just going to make it, everybody's going to get something out of it. And, but yeah, exciting times ahead. I'm glad April hump time frame is over. It was a huge dead, for me and some sectors of my businesses, kind of hit a kind of stalemate. But yeah, this third week of the month is doing a lot better. And yeah, looking forward to guests coming up. We'll be sharing some more marketing insights from all the analytics from the annual updates, and give you guys some insights of what's going on, things I'm working towards as well. And then guests are coming out. We have some guests lined up as well, but we'll let you guys know in the future. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Of course, give us a call, 561-310-8341, Ucoins at gmail.com, website, Linktree, American ACC, eBay, American CC. Check us out on maps, anywhere, find us. Get a hold of John and let us know what's going on with you. And yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific. Check us out. And we are here every week except for maybe holidays. But American coin currency, penny paradox, history, value, and the fight to keep the cent alive. We'll see you guys on the next one, and have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Take care. Great show.